Partial Breakaway Podcast with your hosts Nick and Junior and producer Vince, bringing you elite fantasy hockey information to help you win your fantasy leagues and win at life.
Episode 165 of the Partial Breakaway Fantasy Hockey Podcast. I'm co-host Junior, accompanied live in person by co-host Nick and producer Vince for the first time since the live draft. The live lottery.
The reaction to the lottery, yes.
Yes. But our first official episode, if you will.
Our first official episode back together, not alive. We have a lot to talk about.
Do we ever?
Jeez, guys, the results of that draft lottery
Change the whole perspective of what we're going to talk about.
I had a whole thing set up. I mean, we're still going to talk about Chayka's hiring, but all that negativity and you know what? Like I honestly, we have a lot of friends that are listeners of this podcast that are Toronto Maple Leafs fans, and we make fun of them sometimes. They make fun of us sometimes. It is what it is. I mean, it's a rivalry. But at the same time, you don't want to see such complete sadness and pity for a team that should be doing much better by its fan base, but instead is not acting like a corporate, like a high-end sports franchise, right? A historic sports franchise. They're acting like a dysfunctional corporation, quite frankly.
Well, they're acting like a corporation.
They're acting like a corporation and a dysfunctional one. I will add that because there are good corporations out there. But somehow, all of that kind of got wiped under the rug.
And with that, Nick, I really miss taking care of this soundboard.
I just want to start by saying congratulations to me for winning our gimmick NHL draft internally here, Partial Breakaway. And congratulations to me and listener Umbi for winning Project Llama this year and this beautiful trophy here sitting in the podcast room, the podcast studio.
Which Junior is going to
move it more to the right.
Yeah, Junior is going to put in his bedroom after this podcast.
I was going to move it to the right until I realized it would block me completely.
That was the whole point.
But here it is.
Yes.
Here it is.
All right, put it on the floor now before you drop it. And
then
we're going to drink some White Claw from
Commissioner Jamie is going to disown you as a participant.
Am I allowed drinking from it? Eating cereal from it?
Well, you're allowed
Putting
to
my
touch
daughter in it?
Yes, you're allowed to do, and you should take all those pictures and post them on social media as well, because it's hopefully the last time you ever win. Guys, this is the Odd Man Rush, where we take news and notes and trends of the NHL and turn them into 30-second takes that generally last about 3 minutes. This segment is sponsored to you by Sportira. Visit their website at www.sportira.com for all your apparel and team uniform needs. Follow them on Instagram as well at sportira.apparel. Well, let's get right to it. I mean, the biggest news of the night and the biggest news, I think, of the off-season is going to be how
Montreal beat Tampa in 7 games.
Oh my God, we have to get there too. How the Leafs actually won a lottery and almost won 2 lotteries, by the way. Let's just put it there, right. We were watching it live here. If you want to watch our reaction to it, you could go on the YouTube channel and watch it there. But the Leafs win the lottery. Chances are is that they're not trading out of the pick, right, which Junior alluded to as a possibility. And they're probably going to take McKenna with that pick. So, Junior, why don't you talk to us about what would be the argument of the Maple Leafs actually trading out of that pick in order to acquire more assets?
So I was listening to the interview Elliot Friedman did with him on 32 Thoughts right after he was hired. And basically...
Who's him?
With Chayka.
Oh, okay.
He actually had one with Chayka and Sandin back-to-back on the same episode. But Chayka was basically saying how they have a lot of work to do on the backhand. And his ideal backhand is a puck moving group and a group of defensemen that can join the rush,
I think that's all of the NHL.
right? But they have zero of that. Morgan Riley, maybe. OEL is like 30 plus. So that's where I came to the conclusion that there's a very slim possibility that maybe they trade down if they can get a haul and get one of the Chase Reeds or Carson Corrals that Vince likes too. And maybe you prepare, like in that deal, you get a young center. I don't know. I'm just going to throw a name out there, but like Hage came up, right, against for in the Nyes deal or whatever. Maybe now you keep Nyes, but you get rid of this. You trade down with this pick to get that center, that younger center you want, a Robert Thomas maybe. Like there's a few out there now. Or they just, anyways, I just thought that maybe the possibility could be there that they trade down to maybe solidify a need, the bigger need, which is on defense.
Yeah, I mean, it's...
But can you pass up on a McKenna? Nah.
It's not only passing up on a McKenna, it's passing up on a McKenna at under $1 million or $1 million ELC for the next 3 years, right? On a team that's a little bit cap strapped, to get a McKenna at $1 million or less to play with Matthews, to play with Nylander, to play with whoever.
And listeners have to understand the only wrinkle in Toronto winning the first overall pick right now, which at the end of the day, you'd say, what's the wrinkle? Well, because of this right now, Philly gets, well, this is still not determined, but this is
The
what
NHL has
the
to agree
NHL
to
still
it.
has to agree to it. Because now, remember, Boston was supposed to get Toronto's first pick, but because it was top 5 protected and they got the first overall pick, Toronto keeps it. So from what we're reading on social media right now, it's Philly is going to argue that they deserve Toronto's 2027 first round pick unprotected, and Boston gets Toronto's 2028 first round pick unprotected. So as much as people are out there saying, well, trade Matthews and trade Nylander and trade Morgan Riley and get assets, the problem is you have no first round pick in 2027 and 2028. And I doubt it very much that any of these teams are going to give them back to you. So what I see happening here is them sticking with this pick, getting a Gavin McKenna, and then looking to see what's out there in defense. As a UFA right now, there are not many UFAs that can help the Maple Leafs right now on the back end as of next year. Can it come through a trade? Yes, but will they have to sacrifice one of their top 4? Well, I won't put McKenna in the top. Would they have to sacrifice Nylander, Matthews, or Nyes to get that help on the back end? Probably, because they don't have much more over there.
Well, I mean, this is a new core 4. If Matthews stays, you're looking at Matthews, McKenna, Nylander, and Nyes, and probably in that order as well, as the new core 4 in Toronto. Now, I think what the problem in Toronto has always been is the depth. They haven't had good depth in Toronto. They've had a very top-heavy team, and if some of those guys get shut down during playoff matchups like we've seen in the past, they don't have that secondary scoring that really helps them move forward. So we'll see if they continue with the core 4. I think they will, because I don't think they're looking for a rebuild. But you never know. Sometimes players force the hands of the GMs, and we're not sure if Matthews is going to want to stay around.
It's a sequel to Toronto Maple Leafs Part 1.
And one of the reasons why, just to segue to the next topic, because it's a very simple segue, one of the reasons why Matthews might want out is because of the recent hire of Chayka. Now, Chayka, if you don't know who he was the Arizona. I mean, you're under a rock if you don't know who he was, because people have been talking about it all the time.
Yeah, all week it's been.
But basically, he was a general manager of Arizona, and there was a lot going on in Arizona. It wasn't a very good team, but he also drafted okay. He didn't draft great. He made some good trades, but he didn't make he made bad trades as well. Very, very 50-50 type outcome in Arizona for Chayka. And then he got suspended by the NHL for trying to get a job for another team after he still had 3 years left under his contract with Arizona. And then after he got suspended, other news came out around the same time that he had done some illegal combines
for
for prospects, which were not sanctioned by the NHL, and he was trying to basically cheat. I mean, everybody tries to cheat. Let's be honest. It's hockey, it's sports, it's professional sports. But all that to say that Smith Pelly came out and stated to the media in front of all the Toronto fans, we're going to do an in-depth search for our next general manager. We're going to turn every stone in order to get the best possible. We're going to hire a firm to help us hire the best possible guy. And it just feels that, maybe I'm out to lunch, but it just feels like he gave criteria that he wanted to this recruiting firm. And the criteria that he gave was, I want somebody that's analytics driven, because the whole team has analytics department created by Kyle Dubas back in the day, right? So they don't want to give up that analytics aspect of the team. So we want an analytics, and Pelly also, by the way, in his other, because he also does the Raptors, he also does the
Blue Jays.
The Blue Jays,
the
MLS,
Toronto FC.
They're very analytics driven, so he wants to keep that kind of focus here for the Leafs, which is great. And so I want somebody that's analytics driven. I want somebody with some experience. And I want somebody that's kind of youngish that could grow with the team and kind of things like that. And they went into the algorithm, and that algorithm basically spit out. Well, here's John Chayka.
Wow.
Now, there's other stuff, though, with John Chayka that was not kind of mentioned, right? And that's the suspension. That's kind of the way that he was a little bit into himself, some would say. Some he would stick his nose up to other people. Shane Doan instantly quit when Chayka was hired. Not that it matters, but it's something that to mention, right? And now there's rumors of Matthews wanting out. Now,
this all before...
Go ahead.
So this is all before, obviously, the lottery of them getting the first overall pick, that there was questions of Matthews wanting to know the direction of where the Toronto Maple Leafs are going. My biggest problem with Chayka is it seems the word out there when you're reading about him is that his ego is very, very big.
Very much like Pelly's.
Yeah. And that the question is, did he go into that interview because he believes in Pelly's vision of, I don't need a rebuild, I can retool this quickly to get the job? Or did he go in that interview saying, well, this is where I see Toronto Maple Leafs and this is where I see them going, but this is what the steps that we have to take to get there. And that's where we're not sure how that interview went. To me, in today's any sports, the coach to player, GM to coach to player relationship has to be very good.
The spinal cord.
Yeah, it can't be.
Everybody has to be aligned.
Yeah, but not only aligned, but like open to where my door is open, I can come in and talk to you about something. When you have an ego like it's said he has, I'm not sure that's going to happen in Toronto. And with rumors of Berube still staying there.
Oh, it's not rumors. They said that he's going to stay.
He didn't say he's going to stay. They said he likes him a lot.
Yeah, he likes him a lot. So the question now is...
I like you a lot. Does it mean you're going to stay on the podcast?
He's ready to trade you off, Nick.
I'm ready to go home, guys, whenever you want.
Not that I make that decision, but
the thing, and the reason they're saying is not, and that's the problem, is that they're saying it's not because he's a fan of Berube, but because Berube is...
He wants to buy some time for
yeah,
himself.
exactly. Berube
Every general manager
is his
does.
lifetime. It's his lifeline. So if things start going
He's not my
sideways
coach.
at the beginning of the season, he's not my coach. I'll get rid of him and hire someone else.
Yeah.
So, and that's where...
But I think naturally that conversation with, what's his name? Pelly?
yeah.
You have to have both scenarios because he controls his own destiny, Matthews. So the conversation was probably, what's your strategy to
There wa-
keep Matthews here
But just
to make sure we're a winning team? And what's your strategy if Matthews wants out?
because there was no from what we've heard, there hasn't been any conversation as of tonight. There has not been any conversation with Matthews and
That's
Chayka.
it. There's reports that came out today that Matthews is not sure if he wants to stay.
Yeah.
But who knows where that came from? And the one thing I'm going to say is Chayka is not a guy that's going to leak things to the media. He's not a guy that's going to show his hand. And that's going to go bad with the media in Toronto. And that's why, and we'll get to it soon, but that's why a guy like Simmons came out and attacked him the way he did. And you know what? Maybe we'll jump right in it right now.
No.
And we'll skip to Sandine after.
Well, let's talk about some of the parts here. So, the interview is coming up. Just put a pin in it for like 20 seconds.
All right.
I just want to talk about the reason why Chayka was suspended, so I could clarify, because there's been a lot of confusion about this and a lot of misinformation. So I'm taking this directly from The Athletic. So on January 25th, 2021, Chayka was suspended from working in the NHL for the remainder of the 2021 calendar year. The NHL commissioner, Gary Bettman, cited conduct detrimental to the league and game, and further ruled that Chayka had breached his obligation to the club by pursuing opportunities with other clubs while still under contract with the Arizona Coyotes, and then terminating his contract with 3 years remaining. Chayka and the Coyotes were later revealed to have hosted private scouting combines. So he didn't get suspended for the private scouting combines for draft prospects, which is strictly forbidden by the NHL. The Coyotes were subsequently forced to forfeit their second round selection in the 2020 draft and their first round pick in the 2021 draft for that as punishment. So
what? Like, he hasn't been in the league since then. How long has it been since then?
the only thing is, and maybe this is to your point, Junior, you're the most second storied franchise in the NHL, one of the top earners in the NHL for money wise. You're one of the biggest fan bases in the NHL, right? You're not the Mecca of hockey, I don't care what you say, but one of the biggest fan bases in the NHL.
Corporation fan base, if you will.
And really, was this the best you could do, Chayka, who's been out of the NHL for like 10 years? Because he had 41 Wendy's he owns?
No, it's
Like you went from... Sorry,
he
you went from...
he owns Stathletes, which is very analytical and very data driven, like Pelly likes.
You went from Boston Pizza to Wendy's? I mean, like, at least upgrade a bit, no?
yeah. Listen,
Hey,
I mean-
the Chickenator, Baconator, hello.
but
It sells itself, man.
Boston Pizza has
It
wing
has
nights,
Boston in it, not Toronto.
come on.
I listen. This hire has been questioned by everybody and anybody. I mean,
But it's not going to be questioned anymore because they won the lottery.
well, no, I think it'll still be questioned because now the question now is, what are you doing with that number one overall pick?
They
Because
have all the leverage.
Oh, you're drafting McKenna.
no,
That's for sure.
yeah, but I mean,
90% chance.
drafting McKenna is not going to bring you to the ultimate goal of winning the Stanley Cup.
It might bring you back to the playoffs.
Yes, I
mean,
think
it
that
puts you a
backhand-
lot.
I think-
It puts
I
you in
think-
a,
I think he puts you in
It
the
puts you in
playoffs.
a healthier position than you were 14 hours ago.
it might put you in the playoffs, but it doesn't put you in a cup contender. And they need way more work than that, especially on the backhand.
But
And there's no
profits-
free agents available, and they have no assets to trade away.
If you make it to the playoffs, you don't pay the players in the playoffs. So profit.
Oh
Exactly.
yeah,
right.
yeah.
Exactly
From
what a
that
corporation
standpoint,
wants.
exactly.
That's where I was going. Is
Look,
that
Toronto makes profit regardless. They have one of the biggest fan bases
no?
in the
But
league.
corporation-wise, that's where I mean, you think Jeff Molson's not like taking showers in his $100 bills that he's making because the Habs are in the second round? Like for sure. But that's the problem. Is that good enough for Toronto Maple Leafs fans? Is it? Let's just make the playoffs and we're good, or is the ultimate goal winning the Stanley Cup? So
I just find it strange that it's been this long since he's been in the league, and he's being attacked for something that was done so long ago in an organization that was a shit show. It was a complete shit show, that organization, and nobody knows what went on behind the scenes from owner's perspective. He said
they have good ideas.
He said in an interview that even as a GM, their objective was never team related. It was keep the team and find ways to keep the team in Arizona. So it wasn't build a team to win the cup. It was just find a way to make sure we get people to the games and that we can keep the team in Arizona.
Okay.
That was part of the interview he did with Elliot Friedman.
He did. But if you listen to the players that played in the Arizona Coyotes, they said he made cuts to everything so that the Arizona Coyotes can make as much money as possible. Which is
To keep the team in Arizona.
No, to profit the Arizona Coyotes, just like
They needed to make money to be able to stay in Arizona, and they didn't make enough money, which is why they were relocated.
Okay.
The one thing I like about Chayka is that he's not a media guy. The media hates him, and that's what you need in Toronto. Personally, that's what I think. I think you need a guy that's not going to give the media what the hell they want.
Okay, so let's talk about. Okay, so since you brought it there, I'm going to talk about Ray Ferraro and Aaron Ward first, because they were both stunned. So Ray Ferraro went on an interview with TSN's guys and spoke about. There was a quote that I found interesting, and he basically said, "I couldn't be more stunned that this is where the Maple Leafs landed." Ray Ferraro basically states that John Chayka and Manson Dean in the front office is quite stunning, and I mean, I think pretty much everybody has that, right? Aaron Ward said what I echoed, which was, I can't believe that you hire a firm to get you to John Chayka, who's been out of the league for 10 years, right?
Yeah.
Like that was Aaron Ward's. And you kind of, I mean, look, not everybody is going to be on board with this. I have seen some positive Leaf fans saying that, let's give him a chance. It's a second coming. Let's give him a chance and see where he goes from there. But the majority of Leaf fans were down on this hire. But now I think that's where Simmons comes in.
Okay, you want to go to Simmons right away?
I want to go to Simmons right away.
I just want to say the problematic with Ferraro and Ward is that these are ex-players that have connections with ex-players. So they're getting their stories from players themselves. Journalists get stories from their sources and all that, but these guys are ex-players, so they know what it is to be around Chayka. They make a phone call to someone who played in Arizona, they get the information. So this is what's worrisome, is that these ex-players are saying, I hired this guy.
I just want to say that's why Paul Bissonnette, is out in public, not holding back on how bad this hiring was, because he was there as a player under his management. But I will say is that as much as he was cutthroat, and maybe I don't know the details of how bad he treated players, but the idea of Shane Doan not signing him or letting him go or whatever, and he was like the statue of what represented the Coyotes. Tampa Bay does that all the time. Tampa Bay did that with Stamkos. He wanted to stay. He wanted to stay. They just thought it was time that he had to go, and they didn't sign him. They lost him for nothing.
We're not going to have time to talk
But it was more respectful than that. But he wasn't happy that Brisebois said you got to go.
But if you guys go on Biz, we're not going to talk about it, but if you guys go on Twitter, you'll see Biz on the
Spitting Chicklets
on the podcast, and he explains exactly why. And he says it's not because they didn't want to re-sign Shane Doan.
They didn't want him to be part of anything.
Anything. Like Shane Doan,
alumni, nothing, get out.
Shane Doan was paying breakfast for the guys because Arizona wasn't offering the breakfast for just listen to that podcast. Listen to and Biz
it's like the GM got threatened.
But you know why?
Somebody else
yes. And he said that he did say in the interview with Elliot Friedman, I encourage you all to actually go listen to it because you get a bit of a calmer perspective hearing it from them. But he basically said he's learned stuff. Elliot Friedman asked some really good questions. He wasn't scared, but he asked them more diplomatically than the others. And he didn't shy away from answering them like he did at the press conference. I don't know if you guys saw that, but at the press conference, he totally dodged the question
Yeah,
of...
but Pelly interrupted him 17 times.
Yes.
Yeah, that's true.
Like Pelly just has to be the boss, and you saw him getting redder and redder during the press conference.
What I wanted to say about the whole Don't
Even
situation
before Simmons, by the
is
way.
that not only did you, like you guys said, he had an ego, but they don't want anything to know about real life human perspective or eyesight value of anything. And Doan was going to bring that 100%. That's what he brought. He's all about that, right? So yeah, I hope he's come a long way, because it's going to be a long tenure for...
Look, I think people change. I think people have to change. I think people learn and they grow as human beings. I mean, every day that we're alive, we're learning new ways to be better person. At least I hope we're trying to be better people every day. I know I am.
Yeah, for sure.
But I don't know if it's going to be Chayka. We're going to see. We're going to see how that goes. But doesn't it feel like they brought in Matt Sundin to be like, here, Leaf fans,
Yeah.
here's a human shield. Don't say too many bad things at us, Pelly and Chayka, because you're going to offend Mats. And Mats is your hero. So here.
Who represented the Leafs at the freaking draft lottery? Was it
Mats.
the new GM?
Nobody wanted to look at Chayka.
Exactly. So Matt Sundin is the exact representation of what you said.
A human shield.
He's a human shield. He's like, Leafs fans, I brought your guy back. He's gonna give you what you want when this guy gets carried away.
This guy's not going to talk to the media ever. It's only going to be Mats.
Exactly. But at the end of the day, it's still Chayka making all the decisions.
But that's the thing. The question is, how much say does... And someone asked, before we get to Simmons' question, someone actually asked, how much say does Matt have in
It's a collaborative episode.
yeah, exactly. It was
So-
Chayka's the GM and Matt is and I don't know what word they use.
It's going to be a collaborative.
No, he's a senior advisor.
I see. Yeah. So,
But okay, again, it's a really good interview. You guys should watch it, but you guys should listen to it. 32 Thoughts, the podcast, Elliot Friedman with Chayka and Sundin. He basically asks Chayka, because what's the relationship like? Do you do anything without Sundin or whatever? He's like, no, everything's collaborative, and we have to agree on it. So he's like, okay, so you want to make a decision, and Sundin disagrees. Do you make the call? He's like, no. Chayka said no. Because Sundin said no, he says no.
I'd like to see
Now
that
that's in an
action.
interview. That's in an interview. I know.
I'd like
I know.
to see that in action.
I know. But I just thought that was
agree.
interesting to hear. But
Okay, so
not sure it plays out that way. But I just thought it was.
Okay, this is the last thing we're going to talk about Toronto. All right, the last thing, guys. The Simmons question is viral. It's gone everywhere. We would be remiss not to speak about it a little bit. Simmons, basically, Steve Simmons, known for his controversial questions, known for his rude way of
Clickbait.
asking, trying to get clickbait, basically.
which he succeeded.
He made up, he succeeds at doing it. I mean, he made up a hot dog vendor to talk about Phil Kessel back in the day and how he eats hot dogs and that's why he's fat. Like, Steve Simmons is an ass.
He's a dick.
He's an ass.
Yeah.
Now, the way that he asked this question was flat out insulting the man that he's asking the question to and insulting the intelligence of the guy that hired him all at the same time.
The question was addressed to the guy who hired him. So he's insulting this. I'm insulting Vince, but I'm talking to you.
Yeah.
And
It
I'm
was-
flat out telling he's a con artist.
He basically used the words con artist and
Salesman. and-
car salesman.
Yeah.
Fraud. Like he basically called him a
He
fraud.
called him
Like,
a fraud. And he said 19 out of 20 of these sources that I have, which I don't actually doubt that he spoke to 19 people. I just don't know which 19 people and how old they are, right? To say that Chayka is not the guy. But he might have spoken to Biz, right? Who knows? But 19 out of 20 people anonymous that I spoke to thought this was a horrible hire. Why do you think differently, kind of thing?
we didn't speak to the same people. That's what he said.
Yeah, that's what he said. We didn't speak to the same. It's a rude way of asking a question.
No, 100%.
Because you could have easily worded it like this.
Yes.
This is coming off as a controversial hire. Can you explain to us why Chayka was your guy? Why did you believe in Chayka?
Even if he
you could have
states,
said that, right?
even if he states everything he did wrong, like all the bad things, and then he asks it that way, fine.
No, he went out.
It was
clickbait.
it was like vendetta or
Well, look,
something.
the next day he was on every show, on every TV show, on every.
Yeah,
I
he
mean,
got his 5 minutes of
yeah,
fame, and
like,
not only did he get 5 minutes of fame, but he got viral.
The
right?
worrisome about that is that Steve Dangle went on, and then he said that he also spoke to some sources,
And they all agreed with
and
Simmons.
they all agreed with what Steve Simmons said. So now you got 40 sources, and 38 of them all agreed. So.
Well, look,
It's
listen,
just a rude. I don't know. It's not a journalistic way to ask a question.
it's not real journalism.
Yes,
Absolutely.
exactly.
It's,
But
it's
this
or
is-
maybe this is today's journalism.
But this is today's
right?
journalism. It is what it is. It's clickbait. It's all about I need you to click on this link. That's what it is.
We have fans, like Toronto Maple Leaf fans that listen to this podcast that basically told us, I have no problem with the way that he asked the question because this is how mad the fan base was. We want somebody to represent us, and he asked. We don't like Simmons, but he at least asked the question the way the fans felt about this hire. Now, of course, all that is wiped out because McKenna's coming, guys. So
Number 72.
everything is back. Everything is back to Leafland.
Yeah.
Plan the parade.
It's safe to say Simmons is not getting an interview with any Leafs player or Leafs management ever, right?
I would kick him out of the.
Toronto's-
No, but you know what? At the end of the day, you don't want to kick him out either because then you just make him a martyr.
Yeah.
Um, Statement from Hedman. So this is a little bit more serious, guys. We're going to stop with the Toronto talk. I mean, we spent half the podcast already talking Toronto. I hope you enjoyed it. Like and subscribe, Toronto fans.
Okay, so McKenna going first overall if they hold the pick.
I think it's 90% chance for me.
Without having the 2027, 2028 picks, you have no choice.
I think McKenna's as sure of an offensive prospect as there is, and possibility to replace Marner. And you just replace Marner for a fraction of the price, not 12 million, but one
Fraction is cheap
for the next 3 years.
Exactly.
And it might be your best chance to keep Matthews. This might have kept Matthews around, right? Okay, so we said no more Toronto talk. Statement from Hedman. He mentioned that he had taken a leave of absence from the Tampa Bay Lightning right before the playoffs to boot for mental health. So, I mean, a gamer like Hedman, like a guy as important as Victor Hedman, stepping away from the game right before the playoffs is I'm sure not a decision that he took lightly, and I'm sure it's not a decision that was easy for him to do. I'm just going to read a little bit of the statement here. I'm not going to read the whole thing, but I spent most of my life in this game and nearly all of my career with this organization, wearing this jersey and serving as captain. It's been the greatest responsibility of my professional life. That responsibility doesn't only apply to the ice. Over the past couple of months, I made the decision to step away and focus on my mental health. It was not an easy decision, but it was the right one. So it's hard to hear captain of your team, right? I mean, how would the series have gone if Hedman was in it more often, right? I mean, also Montreal was missing Dobson for the entire game until all the games until Game 7. So it kind of evened out in that sense. But I mean, this is a big decision for mental health that Hedman took. Any thoughts on his timing and maybe on how his recovery is going?
Kudos to him. Maybe Tampa loses in less than 7 games if he plays because he's not right.
It's a good point.
I think it's a very brave decision. I think you're seeing it more and more. As captain, I think it means even more, especially someone who has the pedigree of a Victor Hedman. And the reality is, whether you make $1,000 a year, $50,000 a year, 100 or $1 million or 10 million, everybody goes through some shit. Everybody has to learn how to handle different things, and some people have difficulty with that. And he needed a break. He admitted it. He took it. And I think him and all of the Tampa Bay organization is better for it because they now appreciate their leader even more for taking such a bold statement. I went on the record a couple of weeks ago to state that we don't know what the future of Hedman is in Tampa because of Radish coming up now and having a contract. And I think that's going to be interesting. Does someone want to take a chance on Hedman and offer to maybe trade for him? Or does Tampa say, no, you know what? I can't trade him now. He just set an example for everybody around us. He's still valuable to us in more ways than one. I don't need him on power play 1, but I could still use him in my top 6.
Yeah, I have nothing to it. I mean, he took the time off. It's not an easy thing to do or an easy decision, but if he did, it's because he had to, and we're just hoping for the best and that he comes back stronger next year.
Well, talking about the Tampa Bay Lightning and the Montreal Canadiens round 1, guys, that was some of the best hockey I've ever seen in my life. That was some of the best hockey.
Game 6?
Game 6.
Game 6? And
Game
we
6.
lost. You know, we're not shy. We say it, Habs fans.
And there was only 1 goal scored.
1 goal scored.
But it was one of the most entertaining
Fantastic.
games I've ever watched.
Yeah. Well, 2 teams that gave it all, right?
We're talking about it had everything. That game had everything.
Goaltending.
Goaltending, incredible skill plays by offense, some tight defensive checking, some forechecking, speed, hits,
Physicality.
What a great game!
The coaching matchup?
The coaching matchup.
St. Louis, man, I didn't think he had it in him because he's still a new coach, especially in this
Well,
environment.
new for the playoffs for sure.
Did you how he was switching up his lines as of game 6 to counter what Tampa was trying to do, and it worked. They didn't score, they didn't capitalize on their opportunities, but I was like, damn, like I just saw level up from Martin St. Louis during that series. It was very impressive.
He adapted from game 1 and 2 in Tampa and saw that Cooper was always matching the Cirelli line with their top line, so he mixed those lines up. He basically put them in a blender and just said, go, and it worked. Listen, Game 7 wasn't the prettiest for the Montreal Canadiens.
Oh, Game 7 was horrible.
I mean, but at the end
They
of the
shouldn't have won that game.
You can easily say that they should have never lost Game 6 either, right? So
I think in general they were the better team.
Well,
Through 7 games, I think
through
they were the
7
better
games,
team.
Montreal was the better team. I mean, they led for the majority of the time during those 7 games. I think that Tampa Bay in total only led about
20 minutes.
20 minutes or 13 minutes, if I'm not mistaken, through the entire 7-game series, only 13 minutes, as opposed to Montreal's 30-something minutes. Yeah. So Montreal was the better team here, but the veteran savvy, the veteran team of the Tampa Bay Lightning is not an easy team to knock out. And or hockey gods, like John Cooper says, or Vasilevsky disagrees that it's the hockey gods, by the way. We should mention that too. But, I mean, guys, come on. 2 icings
Oh, my God.
that did not end up being icings because somehow the old ghosts of the Foreigners came and threw a stick in the way of one of them. And somehow a little bit of snow sprinkled over here for the other one that stopped the puck from actually being an icing.
Remember when I told you that the ghost of the Forum finally exhaled when Caulfield scored 50 goals?
Yes.
Something was different.
Well, you know what the problem is? You didn't name it properly because I was looking for that clip so I could post it exactly when the puck hit that Slavkovsky broken stick over there. Or Slavkovsky missing the open net and eliminating me from the playoff pool.
Oh, what a play by Hagel. Oh, when I saw that, I was like, oh, forget it. This game's going overtime. They're going to score now.
The biggest story here for Tampa right now is that after Chicago won their Stanley Cups, they went 4 or 5 years of getting exited in the first round. And that's when their decline started in Chicago. So are we seeing that decline in Tampa? And that's why I think the Vasilevsky comment is important. Because Cooper just said, sometimes bounces go away, and this time the bounces didn't go away. But Vasilevsky was a little more...
How many times can you say that?
Yeah, forward, like, there's only so many times you could use that until you actually have to realize there's a problem with the team. And he didn't say in those words.
But is that Cooper's fault?
Well, listen, this is a team that's been competing so long that assets are very limited to them, right?
But the team itself keeps finding these gems like
Dominic James.
Yeah,
He looks so good, man.
Radish out of nowhere.
Radish.
But it's still, is it going to be enough to compete with all these young teams that are starting to, the Buffaloes, the Montreal Canadiens?
Kucherov only has, a year left on his contract? And he doesn't look very happy.
Yeah, but you think they're gonna pull a Stamkos on him? It could be.
I don't
It's
know if
Tampa
they.
Bay.
Well, it might be up to him.
Guys,
it
if
might
he's
be
still
to
putting up
Kucherov.
over 100 points,
Yeah.
it's not the same thing as a Stamkos,
No.
right?
Well,
I don't
we don't know
believe
if he
so either.
resigns though. That's the
Yeah,
problem.
I think it'll be more his decisions
gonna be
unless he
his
declines
decision.
greatly.
Yeah.
But,
I don't think he wants to leave Tampa Bay. That's
No,
not what I'm
I-
saying. But we don't know the Lightning future right now and what it's going to look like because they don't have the assets coming up necessarily, but they have some really good pieces already on the lineup, right? Hagel looks like the other Brad Marchand, like the future Brad Marchand in my books.
Sorelli,
Sorelli is a great
it's-
shutdown.
Braden
The X
Po-
factor
Braden
is-
Point
yeah.
is the X factor.
There
Can he
you
go
go.
back next year?
Yeah.
Well, I think so. I think this was just a blip in the matrix
I
for
think
him.
so too.
injuries too.
Injuries and
But
whatever.
that's the thing because Vasilevsky has shown that he can be. He can be.
Oh, he's going to win the Vezina
yeah,
this year.
exactly.
He stole Game 6.
Yeah.
Vasilevsky stole Game 6. Dobish, Game 7 was unbelievable.
Unbelievable. Well, they both were. But Johnny Mavs, earmuffs. It's a good time to buy low on Braden Point. It's a good time to buy low on Braden Point in terms of a fantasy perspective.
Yeah, I did it in my family league. I bought low on Braden Point, and I was offered I think it was a 1-for-1 Slavkovsky for Point. I think that's what the trade was. Anyways, we'll see how that goes. But Slavkovsky kind of disappeared in after that big hit from Crevier.
Crevier, yeah. Look, I think the top line, the top 6 of the Canadians didn't produce as much offensively, but they did a good job. Like Suzuki, as much as he didn't get any points, I was very impressed because he did play a lot of minutes against their top guys and a lot of minutes against a guy like Sorelli. But their depth came through. And Tampa was the opposite. Their top guys were pretty good, at least in the first half of that series. And their depth guys didn't give them anything.
Wow, what's his name? Conclave is giving
Yeah, but he's top 6.
Goncalves.
Gonçalves.
James giving him the tying goal.
Goncalves.
and-
Goncalves?
I think they
Not Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. They
But-
were named. That's how they were
is
pronouncing.
it the pronunciation,
But
not
now,
the
Nick,
spelling. Okay.
with Tampa Bay being out, the East is
Okay, so Tampa Bay was, I think, this was Tampa Bay's year to really make noise again in the playoffs because, I mean, they were going up against the youngest team in the NHL in Montreal. Okay, the youngest team in the playoffs. I should preface. They were going up against Montreal. They probably should have won, although Montreal's more skilled. They had the better goalie, right? Kind of. And they had the more veteran savvy. So you expected Lightning to kind of win this series. And then they would have gone up against probably Buffalo or Boston, right? At that stage. Yeah. And they could have won that easily because it's Tampa Bay. Although Buffalo is one of the hottest teams in the league right now. They are out. The East now has one Carolina team who has had the easiest path out of any team out there because, let's face it, Ottawa was more of a, we're happy to make it to the playoffs, guys, this year. I'm not sure if Brady's going to be there next year, but I don't really have much else to give.
There was higher expectations for Ottawa than just making it.
Let's just put it, they just made it.
the owners are happy.
And they're out.
The owners
Very
are happy
fast.
they made a bit of money in those 2 playoff games right now.
So Ottawa's out. They were more pretenders than contenders. I don't think they were ever considered contenders. And then who do they play? They play Philadelphia, who was a great story.
Shouldn't have made it.
But they're still a story.
Yeah.
They're a fun story to talk about.
Whoever was going to come out of that series is just a story.
So Carolina's path is probably by far the easiest, I think, in this playoff so far. So they're going to probably play whatever bloody nose person is left from this Buffalo Montreal series, and they're probably going to end up winning that and going to the finals. But
You know what? I disagree.
Yeah.
I think the winner of Montreal Buffalo will make it to the Stanley Cup final. You know why? Because they're tested. Buffalo wasn't easy against Boston. They put up a fight, and this is not going to be easy against Montreal either. And Carolina's gonna sweep their way to the conference final until they get hit with some real challenges.
Let's say Carolina they're the best team in the East right now. They're well coached. Their secondary players are playing amazing in the Stankova and the Jackson Blakes,
Taylor Hall.
Taylor Hall. They're just hitting
Ehlers.
everything. The
playing great.
problem right now is that if it's too easy in the second round, are you going to be ready for that third round?
I think they're going to be rested.
Yeah,
They're battle tested. This is not a new team,
Nick,
guys. They've been in the playoffs for
rested
5
is-
years in a row.
Yeah, but
Resting
they never
is
got over
fine.
the hump.
But
They made
But-
it to what? The conference finals?
but they
Yeah,
never got
they
over the
never
hump
got to the Stanley Cup final.
Well, this
because of
is the
either Florida or Tampa Bay, and
And
none
both of those
teams
are out.
there. So this is the year.
I think
Ideally, you have to say this is the year Carolina should make it to Stanley Cup Finals.
If they don't make it, I think you have
Then
to start considering
yeah.
Brandon Moore's future. As
I
much
think
as
so,
they
yes.
just signed him to an extent. I said that before, but
Okay, well, let's preview the Montreal Buffalo series before we move on to the West. Okay, the Montreal Buffalo series, we kind of spoke about it a little bit on the way here, but I mean, we're talking about some very skilled players on both sides of the ice.
yeah.
Buffalo kind of has the bigger players because all of their lines have big boys on them, big physical men, and Montreal is kind of a little bit more skilled, perhaps, but smaller. Buffalo's defense has probably one of the best top fours I've seen in a very long time. Their worst defenseman is who? Bowen Byram. I mean, on the top four.
There's
Owen Power.
Byron, Powers, and Deline.
It's freaking good. The only thing that kind of I would give Montreal's way for sure is goaltending right now.
Well, that's where the series.
Well, Lion was pretty
But
good.
Lyon
no,
was
but that's where the series is. Going to be.
955 save percentage whenever he played
This
in
is
the
where the
playoffs.
series is going to be played. It's going to be played in nets because neither Lyon nor Dobish have ever been in a situation like this.
But Lyon has been.
Yeah, but
And-
that
and-
as a first goalie
Yeah,
going in.
okay.
So this is where it's going to play because, like you said, defensively, yes, I'll give the advantage to Buffalo. Offensively, I still think we have a better top six than Buffalo does have.
Tage Thompson.
Yeah, but Cole Caulfield scored 51 goals, Nick.
Okay.
You're talking about size. I'm getting rid of size. I'm looking statistically.
Sure, if I could get rid of size, then it would be an easy playoffs. But it's
statistically,
playoffs, guys.
Yeah,
Statistically, Montreal has a 100-point player.
What did Caulfield do round one?
No,
Okay,
Montreal
well,
has
I'm
a
gonna get to
100-point
that.
player, has a 51 goal scorer. Buffalo doesn't have any of that. So you can't tell me that Buffalo's offense is better than Montreal's offense. Just like we're saying Buffalo's defense right now is better because offensively, defensively, they put up better numbers than the four that Montreal had up. So this is why I'm saying in this series, it's going to be, is Dobish going to outplay Lyon or is Lyon going to outplay Dobish? And that's where the series is going to be played.
So there's a difference between playing Tampa Bay and playing Buffalo.
I
So
agree.
Playing Tampa Bay, they don't have the mobile defense that Buffalo has, right? Buffalo's defense will join the rush. They'll carry the play. Tampa Bay couldn't do that. So what they do, they clog the neutral zone
Oh, they have a Sorelli that could shut down anybody.
yeah, right? I don't think Buffalo has a Sorelli. I like McLeod.
McLeod's good.
I don't think he's Sorelli. I think Sorelli is among the elite in that, just like I think Suzuki is among the elite in that. So
Dano.
we think of Suzuki, is he going to produce?
Guys, Dano shut down.
Yeah, but together, right? At the end of the game.
completely.
But you forget that Suzuki is just as good as a shutdown guy in the league as anybody else. Because Buffalo plays a different system and their D joins the rush, it creates much more open play. That favors guys like Caulfield. That favors guys like the top line. And the same goes for Buffalo, right? Montreal likes to join the rush. Their D likes to join the rush. That'll make space for guys like Thompson, who didn't have a great series against Boston. So both top lines are looking to get a boost here, and I think it's going to be a very
Tuck-
intriguing series.
Tuck was the best Buffalo player, right?
Yeah,
I'm concerned about Tuck in this series. I'll be honest.
he's a Swiss Army knife, that guy.
Yeah, Very good player.
It's going to be fun though, and it's not going to be easy either way. It's going to be really fun.
It's gonna be in defense. The biggest
Look,
thing is
we're both teams are playing with house money.
Of course.
Neither of these teams should have been here. In my books.
The key is which 5-6 defensemen will play better in this series.
I don't think so. I mean, 5-6 defensemen play at 5 minutes a game.
No, not defense. You're playing. Struble played 10, 11 minutes.
Okay, out of 60, and you're telling me that's going to be the difference?
Yeah, because those 10 minutes.
You were doing so good this episode.
I'm telling you, that's
you
what
just
it
had
is.
to throw it out there.
Guys, do we do a quick DraftKings since we're 50 minutes in?
Yeah, go.
Struble is horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, go.
Okay. A word from our sponsor. If I can just get it up. The Stanley Cup playoffs are here, and DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, has a new customer offer. Bet player props. Bet live from the opening faceoff to the final horn. Every moment matters. New DraftKings customers bet just $5 and you'll get $100 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code THPN so you're ready for the moment. That's code THPN. Turn $5 into $100 in bonus bets instantly in partnership with DraftKings. The crown is yours. It's the sound 7 on the last page. I don't want to say it again. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or 800-MY-RESET. New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. Connecticut, call 888-78-97777 or visit ccpg.org. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino in Kansas. Wager tax pass-through may apply in Illinois, 21 plus in most states, void in Ontario. Restrictions apply. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gambling resources, see sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. Limited time offer, copyright 2026, NHL, all rights reserved. Nick, let's keep going, baby.
Dallas.
While Nick sneaked out, Vince sneaked out.
Dallas.
Ooh, just a little bit. Jason
What's
Robertson. Jason Robinson's going to be the key question in the offseason.
Well, I mean, like, what happened, though?
They can't score 5-on-5. They could not score a goal 5-on-5 versus the Minnesota Wild.
Yeah.
It was
Did
power
they get
play or
goalied?
not. Maybe to a certain extent. I think Rupe Hintz was a big injury. I think that was a big loss. I think they were lacking that depth on at center.
Good for the Wild. I mean, let's not take anything away from the Wild, but
You know why I like that from the Wild? Because you had a GM that made a ballsy move, and it paid off in round 1.
yeah, it's true. It's true. And I mean, let's face a fact here in the Western Conference. Do you remember when we did the draft live, or we actually watched the draft? I don't remember what it was. I don't think the podcast
When we
existed
got
back then.
Demidov?
When the Edmonton Oilers traded out of the pick
Burgo.
in order to get Bourgault and some nobody that nobody's ever heard of and never played again. Instead of drafting Jesper Wallstedt, who would have had fixed this goaltending situation for the last 2 years that Edmonton has had, maybe would not have burnt all of McDavid's prime years. And now we're seeing a Draisaitl and McDavid visibly and audibly frustrated.
Okay, so we moved on to another series now.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, you had more to say about the Wild?
About Dallas, there's a lot of questions.
Oh, so okay. Well,
What do you think happens with Robertson if he wants $12 million?
I don't know. We'll see in the offseason. I want to talk about McDavid.
Yeah, that's that. 2021 was the draft. Wallstedt was picked 20th overall.
That was Edmonton's pick. They traded out of it. They traded out of it in order to get another pick. The second guy that they took never made it. So far, anyways. I don't think he's going to make it, but
And hold on a second. The pick right before the Oilers, I have to find it, was also a pick that could have changed their destiny.
What are we talking about now?
So we moved on from Dallas to the Edmonton Oilers.
That's
Nick mentioned the Wallstead,
it's a
the
complete
goaltending
shit
issues,
show.
basically.
Edmonton needs to get their. They need to. As much as McDavid said that they were mediocre all year, he also has to take. If the rumors are true out there, he also has to take that Edmonton cannot trade Nurse because he's McDavid's guy. Because Nurse is a problem on that team, whether you like it or not, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. At $9 million, at the money he's making, he is a problem on the Edmonton Oilers. So, if as much as McDavid could say, "I agree with Draisaitl that we're a mediocre team," guess what? Your guy is one of the guys that's making you a mediocre team.
So the pick I was talking about, the pick right after Bourgault. Do you want to take a guess at who that was?
Who do you go to?
Jason Robertson.
Dallas Stars.
Jason Robertson.
At 23rd overall,
White Johnson.
Wyatt Johnston.
Yeah, but a lot of teams skipped on.
Yeah,
Wyatt
I
Johnston.
get it. I get it. But I'm just, you traded down for Xavier Bourgault, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
Here it is. The pick, 20th overall, Jesper Wallstedt belonged to the Oilers originally. They traded out of that to the 22nd, so they moved down 2 spots, allowing the Wild to pick Wallstedt, while the Oilers picked Xavier Bourgault and 90th overall, which is the compensation they got for moving down 2 spots, Luca Musenberger.
yeah, and that trade
What?
just-
Why did you move down?
Okay, but that trade looks bad.
Okay.
But that trade just looks bad. It's already bad, but it looks even worse now because
Neither of the guys that they
one
picked.
of Edmonton's biggest problem is
Goaltending.
Goaltending.
But it was back then too. It's not new, this.
well, they had Mike.
I think that
Smith.
Dubnik
They
at
had-
the time, maybe.
No, they had horrible goaltending. Guys.
I'll-
It
I'll
wasn't
check it.
consistent.
I'll
the
look it up.
goaltending
I'll look
wasn't
it up.
consistent.
When was
Okay,
the
so
draft pick?
what
2021 draft.
What do you do if you're
2020,
Edmonton?
2020 season.
What do you do if you're Edmonton? You didn't luck out. You didn't get a Gavin McKenna. What do? They're not happy.
Well, how
They-
can you get a,
they
you
regressed.
You can't get a Gavin McKenna because
You made the playoffs.
you made the playoffs, and you're gonna keep making the playoffs as long as McDavid and Draisaitl are there. They're gonna single-handedly or dual-handedly, whatever you want to call it, bring them to the playoffs and drag them in every time.
Okay, so all the talk is about McDavid, right? Because he has 2 years. He signed only a 2-year extension and whatever. But nothing says that Draisaitl can't ask out. Like they have decisions to make. Both guys came out and said that this team had higher expectations than than what they could achieve.
They had Mike Smith.
Who was old at the time?
Yeah, is this the age? Yeah, age 39. They had
39-year-old Mike.
And streaky.
They had Koskinen, who they had signed to.
Yeah, because he had that
Chiarelli.
one good year and they
Yeah,
signed him
they
to a
signed
stupid
horrible,
extension.
But then they had a 23-year-old Stuart Skinner.
But
Again,
he wasn't even like a
He wasn't a prime-
highly rated prospect at the time.
but listen,
Wallstedt was
100
known
Nick, I agree with you at 100%.
one of the top prospects at the time.
Yeah, it was him and
who was going to be a future
him
number
and
one
Askarov, no?
guaranteed.
That was-
Him and Askarov. It was,
him and Askarov in that
Yeah.
draft. Yeah.
getting me upset. I feel bad for listening.
And just to come full circle, at pick 11, the forfeited pick of the Arizona Coyotes by Chayka.
yeah. Anaheim looks fun in the West.
Yeah.
Anaheim looks a lot of
Well,
fun.
they're a young team, but they're gonna learn. They're gonna need to learn how to play defense.
They passed the first round. They beat Edmonton.
Yeah,
but
that's
they,
a good start.
they played a team that doesn't know how to play defense.
But they're already playing with house money now.
yeah, of course.
Yeah, but there's a lot of teams that didn't beat Edmonton that doesn't know how to play defense, and they did.
Colorado, Minnesota is probably the Eastern Conference Final in my
their
book.
defense.
The
That's
Western
what a-
Conference.
The Western Conference Final in my book.
defense doesn't
What a-
exist in that league.
What?
in that series?
9-6. So Montreal won with 9 shots, and Colorado won with 9 goals.
Oh man.
That's just imagine that,
Yeah,
guys.
but even that, look, Minnesota's down 3-1 today.
3-1, 12 minutes left.
3-1, 12 minutes left, man.
Guys, Colorado is a machine.
Yeah,
they are a
I know,
machine.
but Minnesota. Listen,
And everybody
whether
that
we
was
like it
saying
or not,
Brock Nelson was not going to be a good number 2 center,
Yeah.
this guy put up goals coming out of the West.
Everyone
this
thought it
year.
was pricey, that extension.
But whether or not, like,
He earned it.
Minnesota made huge.
Yeah, they went all in.
All in. And
went
now,
all in.
and they have this year, next year, unless they can convince Quinn Hughes to resign.
I think
them.
he resigns.
But this is the 2 years that they have to go all in. And next year, remember, they're going all in with a $17 million player in Kaprizov.
Hey, listen, the way New Jersey is looking right now, I don't think Quinn Hughes
not-
would want to go there.
No.
No.
Hey, brothers, you remember when you were making fun of me because I'm not on the same team as you guys? Well, I'm actually in the playoffs.
Maybe they're going to join him later.
Exactly. Vegas, I just want to touch on Vegas a little bit
Oh,
because,
man.
Eichel's playing amazing. He slowed down a lot in the end of the
Post
year.
Olympics?
Post Olympics.
yeah.
But he's turned it on this playoff series. He's been one of the best players for Vegas.
And even Dorofeyev just keeps on.
Dorofeyev
Kicking.
doing really
Brad,
good.
Brad Howden is a underlying hero.
Marner
too
last
there.
game had a
Marner's
good game.
elimination game versus Utah, huge, came up
Huge.
really big,
Huge.
and he had a really good game one. So he's coming around too for
I
a
remember
guy who's
they-
not good at the playoffs
they-
and cost the franchise their playoff record.
They got the new coach. Torts came in 10 games left in the season.
Yeah.
So now maybe he's getting his system in more, his message across. So
I didn't back down from my
getting
bold
gold-
prediction, eh?
they get Carter Hart still in nets, right?
Yeah.
They're getting
Carter
goaltending.
Hart is playing
They're getting
decent.
goaltending right now, so it's
What a resurgence, guys! Like
Yeah.
the storylines this playoffs have been amazing. Toronto winning the lottery is still shocking to me. Like I still can't believe they won the lottery.
Oh man, I tell you, how many
like,
babies are gonna be
Have you
made
ever?
tonight?
I don't think I've ever seen.
Tune into our social medias, by the way, for our live reaction. It's already posted.
Live reaction and our live
Episode.
I think Batista said this great. Like I really want to just quote him a little bit here. But I've never seen such a team in so much turmoil. Okay, hold on. I need to
Being
read this.
thrown a
because-
bone.
I need to read this because this is so well said. I just want to get. Sorry, I know this isn't the best podcasting when you're searching for something that was said.
No, but Junior, they're going. Like I know we spoke about it, but they have to go McKenna. You're not screwing up this pick.
I mean,
You can't. You
I
can't.
don't think they could screw it up whether they go Stenberg or McKenna, but I'd be shocked if it wasn't McKenna.
If you're telling me that Matthews is such this phenomenal two-way centerman that he is, why are you gonna go get a winger that's a two-way winger instead of a winger?
You're looking at him wrong. He's a top line player that can play both ways. That doesn't mean he doesn't score a lot. He doesn't get a lot of points. You're looking at it the wrong way. You see two way and you get scared.
the
But
prospect. What they're saying in prospecting is that McKenna is about 10 to 15 points ahead of Stenberg. Not saying that Stenberg is a 60-point player. Stenberg can be an 80 to 90-point player easily, but McKenna has the potential of being that 100. The Marner,
100 points.
Yeah, 100 point to 105-point player. It's
110.
not a big difference. So now are you taking you're not claiming you do already have in Austin Matthews a very good two-way centerman. So
We said we were going to talk about Toronto, and we're talking
no,
about
but it's
Toronto.
because I'm
because
waiting.
we're
for you to
killing
get your
time till you
Batista,
find
so-
your.
No, I found it.
Oh,
You guys
okay.
let me know
go
when you're
ahead.
ready.
Oh, we're ready. Go.
So Commissioner Batista, okay, this is what he said. He goes, "I'm blown away. I have never seen this in any sport at any time in my life. Just talking to listener Adam about it. Never have I seen a prominent team like the Toronto Maple Leafs get torn apart in one calendar year, finishing bottom 5, basically. Have executive turmoil for the last 2 months because of Pelly, and had one of the worst PR criticisms in the last 24 hours. The whole debacle,
Simmons.
Chayka, hire, Simmons, everything. Only to have everything swept under a rug in such a jubilant fashion by winning the lottery. No more questions about does Matthew stay? No more trade Riley. No more GM backlash. No more coach questions. The next 2 months will just be pure excitement for a fan base that had so much drama this year. It's not even fiction. You can't write this in fiction. Nobody will believe you.
I'm just saying
Real life is better than fiction sometimes.
we have to go back in our clips because at the beginning of the season I said Pittsburgh was going to get the first overall pick, and then when they make the playoffs, I said Toronto was getting the first overall pick. check our clips, tag it.
To me, you know what I learned out of all this? This whole drama thing? What I learned out of all this is that I think Dubas was done dirty.
Oh,
And
for
I
sure.
think Shanahan wasn't the culprit. I think Shanahan was just a spokes puppet for
For Pelly, for
Pelly
sure.
and the rest of MLSC, who was basically telling him, get rid of this guy. We don't want to lose our top
I
core
think
four.
they had carte blanche at the time, and then when things weren't going right,
COVID-
Pelly stepped in and said, "Forget," because Babcock wasn't an analytics guy.
No. But
Shanahan neither.
Fine,
No,
okay.
but we
No.
have to understand.
But they only went.
COVID
Dubas
also-
was an analytics
Yeah,
hire.
when they went to Dubas, that was when they stepped in.
And
Rogers stepped in.
COVID kind of ruined Dubas's plans with the.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
I mean
no.
that's well known. But I
Yeah,
mean, the aftermath. The aftermath was a lot of corporate heads of the corporate state. Let's say call them whatever you want. But Pelly, in the end, I think he was putting his hands into everything near the end, and I think that's where the Dubas leaving and asking to be. When he went to Pittsburgh, he wanted to be president of the
President,
hockey
yeah,
office. I don't
of
want
course.
anyone
Yeah.
over me except
Yeah.
the owner.
Yeah.
I think
Are
both
we,
Shanahan and Dubas were doing.
Are we going to recap? The
Yes,
second
we
round?
are. Yes, we are. Because, God darn it,
Someone had to represent this podcast.
somebody has to do the update for our Battle Royale playoff pool. All right, so Vince, why don't you tell us how round one ended for you?
Well, round one ended with me. I started from the bottom, and I'm still waiting to get here. That's basically what happened. I just stayed at the bottom. Yeah, listen, I went with drafting two high quality defensemen in the first two rounds, and my first two picks, and basically, wow.
They did nothing.
Well, in the second round, McCarr all of a sudden
No,
decided
this
that-
was a first-round
Oh,
draft.
Well, too bad. Because in the second round, not to in the first round, I had the 12th pick in our round. 11th.
11th.
Second to last, and
Yeah, 10th.
10th, and and we're 11 guys, so
We're at 12.
oh my god. So we had I drafted defense right away. In the second round, all of a sudden, there was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 defensemen drafted in the first two rounds.
Yes, because
Don't say because they learned from me and they said Vince had the right way, just his players underperformed.
no, because there's only 8 teams left in the second round compared to 16 in the first round. So your elite defensemen became more valuable in the second round because you have a deeper team. If you look at the teams, the rosters of these teams, you guys are gonna be like, they're terrible. But we had 8 players, 6 forwards, 2 defensemen, out of 13 teams, fantasy teams, but only 8 playoff teams.
Yeah, so instead of next year...
That's a pool of over 100 players, by the way.
Yeah, so we... I mean, this is the biggest turnout that we've had
Yeah.
in the playoff pool. And I think we had kept the same rules as the previous year, where half the teams get eliminated from each division. I think next year we're just going to take the top 5 of each division and not have 13 team second round and have just a 10 team second round.
Yeah, or do 2 divisions if we're more players again. We'll do it.
Okay, but just to
Sure.
playoff leaders
We'll
in
talk about
points. Matt Duchene, 6th overall, 9 points. Taylor Hall, 7th overall, 9 points.
But this is always
Jackson
playoffs,
Blake,
by the way.
Exactly. So you might see on your roster, oh, well, look at my roster, but these are the guys that are going to make you win to go into the next round. It's not going to be the McKinnons.
I love Jackson Blake.
It's going to be the Texies, the McLeod, the Norris, the Dvorak.
Yeah.
Right? But those are the players that are going to put you into the next round. The biggest thing with round 2
Not
is
the
that-
Parker Kellys.
No, not the Parker Kellys.
You have the
Unfortunately,
guys who get you to the playoffs, and you have the guys that get you through the playoffs.
I'm not going to lie. Parker Kelly was drafted.
He was drafted in the second round.
Yeah, 13th.
I think he scored a goal in game 1.
Okay, so why don't you just mention the listeners that moved on to the second
Okay,
round?
so basically we have listener Cappy. We have Termers, which is listener Jamie.
So they were both division winners.
Yeah, listener Ombi. We have listener Terry, listener co-host Junior, listener Roger, who has the
Who auto drafted in the first round and still was better
and
than me.
still was better than you. That's
The Bush League podcast.
Bush
by the
League
way.
podcast,
Fantasy football.
Fantasy football. We have listener Mike. Can I read this name out loud?
Where's my Truba? That's
Where's
Tasso.
my Trubad? So that's Tasso. Listener Allegassi, listener James, listener Russo, listener Weeds 13, and listener Tino P. So these are the guys that made it to the second round.
If Russo wasn't in both pools and he wasn't in B,
Yeah,
I would have made it.
He was our double entry.
I missed it by 0.3 points, by the way.
So did Tony
P,
listener
yeah,
Tony
0.1.
and both because of the same player, Slavkovsky. If you would have scored that
If
goal,
Slavkovsky scored that goal, we would have both made it.
both made it.
I feel you, Tony.
If my grandmother had balls, she'd be my grandfather.
Wow, it's my grandma had
a little rude. It's a little rude.
Sorry, it's the Steve Simmons in me that.
Yeah, exactly. So what are we looking at?
Go eat a hot dog.
We're not going to go through every team. We're not going to go through every team, but what can you say, Nick? What looking at these teams, who do you think has the upper hand? We did not include which games did we not include?
You want me to pull it up on the?
Can I
share your screen? Yeah.
Yeah, let me share the screen. I'll share the screen.
So, by the way, what helped me in round one was that Draisaitl fell to me at 5. People were scared of his injury, but the report was that he looked great and was probably going to play.
Yeah.
I share the screen. I just need Nick to.
And I got pick 5 again for round 2. So it's important to add, though, that we did not count the first game of the Carolina series in terms of points, the first game of Colorado and Minnesota.
Doesn't matter. The second
So
one finished
so
9-6.
basically the draft
No,
took
the
place,
first one finished 9-6.
the draft took place yesterday, so we counted all games from yesterday moving forward. We didn't
exactly.
count the previous games.
Yeah, so I mean, we're looking at teams here, and we see that, like Junior said, because there was not many players, but a lot of teams drafting. Defensemen went very early in this draft, like the Quinn Hughes, the McCars, the Hudson, Fabers, Taves, Theodore, Dahlin, Lacombe. But Nick, what you're seeing here, what's your feeling on which team has the upper hand?
Okay, so I really like Umbi's team, and he grabbed 2 defensemen right off the bat. In the first 3 rounds, he took Eichel first. He went Theodore, John Carlson. Now John Carlson burned me because Lacombe was the better player in round 1.
Yeah, we both had John Carlson.
And we both had John Carlson. But I really like that fact that he got Eichel in the 3rd pick. That's a great pick. But he has a lot of these big role players. Kreider is one of those guys that could just perform in front of the net. Ryan Hartman is one of those guys that just goes in front of the net. Ryan McLeod, another big-bodied center that could just go in front of the net. Dak is actually having a pretty good season, and he got him in the second to last round, right? He's been doing really well for the playoffs, I'm saying. For his line has been doing very well. And he got Jack Drury, 3rd liner, maybe 4th liner in Colorado, but Colorado puts up goals. I think this is a really good team.
My issue with this is if Carolina sweeps again in 4, people who have Carolina players suffer the most because you weren't expecting the Philly players to get you those points. So it's going to be such an interesting.
Well, Umbi doesn't have
round.
any of those Philly
No,
players,
exactly.
right?
That's what I'm saying. So
Or Carolina
I'm
players.
looking at players that don't have like Terry's team. Makar, Dorfeev, Lekkonen, Granlund, Kadri,
Also a very good team.
Marcus Johansson, Malinowski, Martinuk.
Yeah, the bottom 2 are a little bit that.
Yeah, but the bottom 2, I mean, you look at the bottom 2 and most of them, but I like that. I like her team. Dorfeev he's just not stopping. he just keeps on taking. Makar seems like he found his legs in the second round. The problem is if Colorado goes up 2-0, is Minnesota in trouble?
No.
Or are you not in trouble until you lose a home game? Is that where we're going?
Ah, you're always in trouble if.
Look, it's
if
4-2.
you lose.
Marcus Johansson just scored by Yurov and Hunt.
No.
But that's 6 goals already this game. But I have to be honest with you. After the first
6
two
goals, and Kadri and Johansson both got a point for listener Terry. So my pick is on fire right now.
after the first 2 picks, you're already starting to be like, I gotta dig deep now into.
Yeah.
And then I started telling myself, nobody's gonna take Carolina players. Ehlers had just scored for Carolina, so I said, I'm gonna bank the points that I know I get. So I went with Ehlers.
You were called out, by the way, on Discord.
Oh yeah,
By-
yeah.
by-
No, it has to be.
Like, this guy's going for all the sure things that I've already scored.
Yeah, for sure. And
Anybody getting a point tonight is on Junior's team.
that's true because if I'm going to go get depth players that might get a point every second game, I might as well go get Carolina players that might not play 7 games or 6 games and make sure I get those points. I got stuck with Josh Anderson and McCarron in the last 2 picks.
Josh Anderson was a good pick.
I like the picks, but McCarron's played 2 freaking games.
Explicit.
They scored 8 goals and doesn't have a point.
You were good for an hour and 15 minutes. An hour and 15 minutes you were good, and you just
know.
ruined it now.
I know. I apologize. Explicit. Damn it. Maybe we could beep it out or something.
Yeah, you edited it.
But listen, it's going to be an interesting second round. Like Nick said, thank you for all the listeners and all the
Yeah,
participants.
thank you everybody for participating.
And
we do
listen-
have some prize announcements, I think, that are going to be coming.
You know what? I'll announce it now.
Sure.
Congratulations to Tamerms, which is Jamie, for winning Division B. You get a $50 certificate at Pulcinella Restaurant. And congratulations to listener Cappy. You're going to get some partial breakaway merch with this beautiful hat you don't see right now, right here. You get one of
Didn't
these.
listener Cappy win merch
He-
already last
he
year?
won
won the
2 years
the-
ago. He won the partial breakaway battle royale.
First
That's
year.
right.
He's the first inaugural winner.
That's right.
He won a
that's right.
custom hoodie from Sportira, which will go to the winner of this, as among other things, which we'll announce later. But while I'm at it, thank you to Ralph and the crew at Pulcinella Restaurant. Thank you to Bamia and the crew at Industria Blainville Restaurant. Thank you to Andrew, Cynthia at ANC Photo Boots. Big thank you to Karina and the team at Sportira. Am I missing anybody in terms of prizes, guys?
That's it for now.
That's it for now.
That's it for now. All right. So thank you to everyone for contributing to the Battle Royale playoff pool, which is sponsored by Patisserie Boulangerie Italia.
And once again, Toronto, first overall pick.
What's happening here?
You're on the clock, Toronto.
I'm going to have to teach you how the show must go on.
The show must go on.
I'm trying to find the right thing.
I need to trim my beard. This is getting
Yeah.
it's a playoff
Oh,
beard.
Nick
Should
was
I-
just blacking us up. Want to hear a dad joke?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, why not?
What,
McKenna?
what happens when you hire a terrible GM and a GM that nobody wants? Hey, you get the first overall pick.
Horrible. Horrible. Stick to the script.
Have a great week, guys.
Don't say we never win anything, and don't say we don't know what we're talking about. You got proof right here.
All right, play outro.